Greetings, legendary readers. Welcome back to Larry's Legendary Library, where I like to explore science fiction, fantasy, and other bits and bobs. Today is another installment of Magazine Monday. Today we will be looking at Amazing Stories. It is the May 1970 issue, volume 44, number 1. How a May issue gets to be a number 1, I don't know, but Amazing Stories first hit the newsstands in 1926. It is the first magazine dedicated entirely to science fiction. By the 60s, it had a sister publication, Fantastic, and the two often shared editorial staff and content. You'll sometimes see issues with combined titles, Amazing Science Fiction / Fantastic. Surprisingly, Amazing Stories is still alive today, although its releases appear to be very sporadic. I found a 2021 issue that's available on Amazon for about $11, and they currently release content through their Patreon. Some of the highlights of this issue: Blood of Tyrants by Ben Bova, Skip in Time by Robert E. Toomey Jr., Nobody Lives on Burton Street by Gregory Benford, Saturday's Child by Bill Warren, a serial installment, Part 2 of 2 by Furies Possessed by Ted White, Master of Telepathy by Eando Binder. And then there's some also nonfiction departments. So first of all, I'd like to look at Nobody Lives on Burton Street by Gregory Benford. This short story drops us into a surreal world that is patrolled by android cops and firemen. Burton Street itself seems to be a pressure valve placed intentionally for the local populace to destroy. It's like a vacant cityscape, so to speak. Our protagonists are peacekeepers. There's not much to stop the destruction of the populace. They're just there to make sure it doesn't go too far. There's an illustration by Jeff Jones accompanying the piece. The story feels a little bit dated, which is understandable given that it's 55 years old. It's certainly not the worst dated story I've read from this era. My rating is L2. It's low key. There's some mildly interesting ideas, but ultimately I found this story pretty forgettable. That said, perhaps I'm missing something. It was reprinted by World's Best Science Fiction in 1971. I'll put an ISFDB link in the description, so if you'd like to check out this story. The second story I'd like to spotlight, Skip in Time by Robert E. Toomey Jr. This one has a much lighter tone, and it really worked for me. The story opens in a gritty bar, and suddenly a brontosaurus strolls by, causing chaos, destroying things. Enter Webb Williams, a journalist, and Mason Doherty, a scientist who claims that he caused this temporal rift with his time displacer. They come up with a plan to fix this dino disaster. It involves courage and large amounts of whiskey. Webb travels back to the Mesozoic era only to find that it's a protected game sanctuary. And this story is fun, it's clever, it's tongue-in-cheek, it's got enough humor, and yet also has a fun science fiction flavor. My rating is L4. It's loaded. It is well worth the read, quick, enjoyable, and totally fun. I would definitely seek out more Robert E. Toomey, maybe even his novel, A World of Trouble. And I'll also put an ISFDB link in the description for his author page. Well, that's it for this week's Magazine Monday, another peek into the golden age of pulp science fiction. Have you read this issue? Have any of these authors become favorites to you? Hit like, comment, and subscribe to Larry's Legendary Library for more science fiction deep dives every Monday. See you next time, and stay legendary.